here at Chulalongkorn University. My name is Sorat. I have been working with Daryl for like more than 10 years. My work is in bioethics and information ethics, and I'm very glad to have you here, and we look forward to fruitful exchanges and enjoyable time together discussing academic stuff and others. Yeah. Welcome you to Thailand, to Bangkok.
Thank you, Sorat. So let's do a self-introductions. We're going to start down this row here first, on left, please. Please stand up when you're talking at the far end, closest to Sorat, please. Yeah. Please stand up. Oh, it's okay. I think I can see you. Just make sure you're clear on the video.
Good morning. My name is Aldrin Indero from Notre Dame Marble University, Philippines. I work as assistant professor in the university, and I'm glad to be here to see you and participate in this conference.
Thank you very much for coming. Please, yeah, Rogelio.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rogelio Bayod from Guriaso College in Digos. This is my second time to be in Chulalongkorn University. I'm glad to be with you here. Good morning.
Good morning. Right.
Hi, I am Christopher Ryan Mabolok. I'm Professor of Ethics at Ateneo de Davao University in the Philippines.
Hello, mabuhay. I am Ronnie Barrientos from General Santa City, Philippines. I think it's 2 years since I joined an AUSN event. I'm a scholar of AUSN. I take up my master's in bioethics and global public health. Before, I've been doing a lot of pieceworks. Right now, I've been busy doing startups in technology. And before, I also teach in college, but right now I'm purely on business and whatnot. Yeah, Ronnie po.
Thank you, Ronnie. Welcome. We'll go back to Ananya. Please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ananya, native to Nongchok. I'm based on Bangkok, work in Bioethics Institute. Also, I'm the visiting professor in AUSN. Nice to meet all of you. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Sopita Thongsophit, working in the Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation Policy Council. In my office, there is Committee of Ethics.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Dennis Alfaro from St. Paul University, Quezon City, Philippines. I joined AUSN last February, and I'm a student of AUSN. So I'm glad to see some of the familiar names, because usually I just saw them in Skype during classes. So right now, in person. So nice meeting you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Marlon?
Good morning, I am Marlon, teaching at AUSN and also from the Philippines. Nice to see all of you.
Thank you, Marlon.
Morning, Marites Fontanilla from St. Paul University, Quezon City. I'm from the IT department of that school. So this is my third time to join AUSN Research Conference. Nice meeting everyone.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, good morning. I'm Leandro Esadilla from St. Paul University, Philippines as well. This is my first time joining AUSN, and hope I'll be able to join future conferences.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm a retired professor from Hamasat University, which is many times I join various workshops and everything, and I found out it's very interesting. Yes.
And your name, please?
My name is Jutatip Umavicini. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm John Weckett. I retired from Charles Sturt University about 6 years ago. I worked mainly in the ethics of technology, particularly computer ethics and nanotechnology. Since I've retired, I've been doing a lot more work in sort of the history and culture of Australian Indigenous people, and also getting more involved in environmental type ethics.
Thanks, John. No.
Good morning. I'm Lane Hardisol, and I'm a professor here at Chulalongkorn in philosophy. And my area specifically is in global justice and nanotechnology, which is kind of big, but how we are to develop both the new structural system and then also guarantee access. So there's a kind of entanglement, if you want to talk about, let's say, like the fact-value dichotomy, breaks down when we want to actually build something. So our ethics going to be built into the actual techno system along with access on the back end. Yeah. I see people shaking their heads because it's a pretty well-known topic.
Thank you.
Good morning. I think this is my second time to join your conference. The first was in Kumamoto, and I'm glad to be back. I'm Dexter. I'm a teacher of philosophy for many years, but my interest is more on environment. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tamara, please.
Good morning. I'm Tamar Lidron from Israel. I've twice retired from faculty, and it's my second time here in Thailand. I'm glad to see so familiar faces. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry to have been late. Like Soaj, I've used public transportation in the morning, even though my hotel is exactly 4 minutes from here. I managed to do the whole university until I found the building. But anyway, I'm glad to be here, and it's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Tama. And on Skype, we have several people who are joining. We have a few: Maria, Manuel, Len, Tahira, William, from different parts of the world. And we'll get people coming and going as we go. So I'd like to welcome you all again. Thank you. Okay, so thank you very much, Samara, for the presentation. So now we'd like to, we have some questions. Who would like to start? Marlon? You've been making lots of notes here. He's a very tough examiner. Go ahead, Marlon. Hello?
I'm sorry, voice is not audible, so I'm not able to
She cannot hear me.
hear.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead. Turn your mic off, Samara.
Hello, Samara, can you hear me now? You can hear me now? Loud and clear?
Not very clear, but still I can try to listen.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead, Marlon.
Yeah. First, I would like to be. Well, let's clarify first what you would like to accomplish. You said you would like to illuminate past, current, and future trends. What do you mean by illuminate?
I'm sorry, the voice is not very clear.
In your purpose of the study, you stated as a main purpose to illuminate past, present, and future trends. Can you clarify what you mean by illuminate?
Do you mean to ask that what was my basic purpose of conducting think.
Yes, I'm asking the purpose because the stated purpose was for you to eliminate past, current, and future trends of migration of nursing workforce in Pakistan. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. Can you please enlighten us? What do you mean by eliminate?
So the basic purpose of this study was to see that the nurses that have acquired their education in Pakistan and have opted migration and are currently working in the foreign country, the nurses that has acquired their training in Pakistan and right now they are working in Pakistan for over the period of 5 years or more, and the student nurses. And the primary objective was to see that the motivational factors for nurses migration amongst group 1, 2 and group 3 nurses have remained same or they have changed over the period of time. Like for instance, the group 1 nurses shared that they migrated because of the salary issue or the wages issue. The salary that they are paid here in Pakistan versus the salary that they are paid in abroad, there is significant difference. Like they verbalize that what you earn here in Pakistan in a year, you can earn the same amount in a month there in abroad. So the basic purpose was to see that over the period of 3 decades or over 3 generations, has those factors remained the same or there is any change in it, in order to see that whether the government has done anything for the nurses or have taken into consideration this particular issue as far as the retention of nurses are concerned. And if not, if the factors are same, then there is an immediate need to work on it.
So what you mean is you are trying to examine the changes in the trends? Because normally when we say eliminate, we normally understand it as to enlighten or to make clear. But what you are saying is you are trying to assess or you are trying to evaluate whether the trends that was existing before, now, and the future, whether there are changes to it. So would you prefer to use a better term rather than eliminate?
Well, what would be the better term, Marlon? What do you suggest?
Probably evaluate or would be a better term. Because elimination, not to eliminate, is more rather spiritual. So I think to evaluate the changes in the trends, that would be, I believe, a better one. Which leads me to another issue, because you are trying to evaluate the trends. Normally when we evaluate past, present, I don't know how we evaluate the future trends. But when we evaluate past and present, we normally have the approach should be a little comparative. So what do you mean by past? For the past 10 years, past 20 years, past 25 years? And where's the present? You mean from 2000 to the present 2019? Or is it only 2019 and the past will be anything beyond 2018 and beyond? I was listening to the presentation. I was waiting for a comparison between the past, meaning from probably 1990 to 2000 and then 2000 to the current era, just for us to see clearly the difference in the trends of migration of Pakistani nurses. Did you do that?
So, thank you for the question. As far as the time frame in order to determine that what is past, what is present, and what is future, there was no absolute time frame that was used. Rather, the individuals who have acquired nursing training in past and have migrated were the people who were able to give me data regarding the factors that have motivated them to migrate. Like people who have migrated earlier, because this is a cross-sectional study. So in cross-sectional study, you are able to see a phenomena at a particular point in time. So by past, I mean to say that the nurses who have already opted for migration and have migrated, and currently they are in foreign country for about 2 years or above and are currently practicing as a nurse there. So that is the past. The present is the nurses who have acquired training and are currently working in Pakistan. In future is definitely the nurses, the student nurses who will be soon finishing up their studies and going for their career. And I wanted to see that what are their thoughts regarding the migration, whether they would like to be here in Pakistan and serve their country, or they would like to migrate. So there was no time frame defined that the nurses who have graduated before this particular study and have migrated. This was not the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The inclusion criteria was basically for, like, if you refer to group 1, it was the Pakistani nurses who had obtained their pre-registration nursing education in Pakistan and has worked in Pakistan as nurse with first-hand experience of Pakistan health system. They should have working experience of a registered nurse in the country where they have migrated. And they should be currently working as nurses in their countries of migration with valid registration and licensure from National Regulatory Body. Those nurses who have migrated for study purpose and the nurses who didn't have the licensure or registration through National Regulatory Body in a respective country of practice were excluded from this study. And those nurses who are also working as care assistants without license were not included. And nurses whose parents or spouse migrated and they have no experience of working as a registered nurse in Pakistan were also excluded from the study. So group 1 consisted of these groups, the nurses included were this group. And in group 2, they were the Pakistani nurses who obtained their pre-registration nursing in education in Pakistan and have worked in Pakistan as a nurse for at least 5 years. And they should have the first-hand experience of Pakistani healthcare nurses. They should have a registration from Pakistan Nursing Council, and they should be working as the registered nurse in Pakistan. And the nurses who are Pakistani educated and they are working as nursing administrators or educators were excluded from this study, and foreign qualified nurses were also excluded from the study. So that we are able to get a right now snapshot of the nurses that are working in Pakistan, and they are able to give us the details regarding the current work scenarios or the difficulties that they are facing right now as far as the healthcare system of Pakistan is concerned. The group 3 of nurses were nursing students who were enrolled in 3 years diploma in general nursing program or 4 years Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree program at BNC recognized institutes, and the students enrolled in programs other than RN and BSc and were not included in this study. So this group of nurses, group 3, were able to provide the data regarding their intentions to migrate, which depicts that the future generations that will be graduating, whether they would like to stay in their country or whether they would like to migrate. So there was no time frame, rather it was the group of people and their experiences that depicted that whether they should fall under the group of the past, the present, or the future. Hope this answers the question.
Yeah, thank you, Samari. Yeah, I think that's a good answer. I think it's also quite interesting, I think, from Marlon and the Philippine colleagues' perspective, that migration of nurses is a very big phenomenon from the Philippines as well. And so your study will be interesting to compare to the migration from the Philippines over time. Maybe, I don't know if we have such a study. Did you find in the literature any study of Philippine nurses' migration?
basically, my research was primarily focused regarding the phenomena of nurse migration in Pakistan. So, overall, the data that I have gathered was that there is a global trend of migration of nurses, and also there is a global shortage of nurses as well. However, my literature was limited to the studies that has been done with respect to the Pakistani nurses, and I was able to get one study in which the experience of nurses who have migrated and are currently working in UK was analyzed. So I was not able to go through the studies that probably have addressed the migration phenomena in other countries.
Okay, Eldrin, that's a question. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Leandro.
Hello, Samira. I'm just curious.
Introduce yourself, Leandro.
I'm Lian from the Philippines and will be enrolling soon again in the AUSN. I'm just curious to know what are the reasons why some nurses in Pakistan opted to stay in Pakistan and do not want to migrate in other countries.
Okay, Samara, did you get that?
I'm not sure because there is noise disturbance, but I guess you were trying to ask me that was I able to find the reasons that nurses would like to stay in Pakistan or not?
Yes.
Did you want to know about this?
Yes, because maybe the policies that we could recommend to the government should focus on these reasons why these nurses, although they have an opportunity to migrate with other nations, opted to stay in Pakistan.
Okay, so as far as the reasons of nurses or the intentions of nurses to remain in Pakistan are concerned, what I was able to see in this study that there was a question that was asked from group 1 participants at the end of the data collection process. The last question was that would you like to return to your homeland or not? And if you would like to return, then what are the reasons? And if you would like not to return, then what are the reasons? And similarly, group 2 participants were asked that would you like to remain or would you like to opt for migration? And again, the reasons for it. And same question was asked from the group 3 participants as well, that after completion of your studies, would you like to remain in Pakistan or you would like to go abroad? And majority of participants from all 3 groups reported that they would not like to work in Pakistan because of the reasons that they have mentioned, which is the image of nursing or the working conditions of Pakistan. Although they are highly motivated in terms of saying that if the image of nursing is improved in Pakistan or the government can take certain measures in order to improve the working conditions of Pakistan, so definitely nobody would like to migrate because migration is a stressful event because in the initial phases of migration, the research participants went alone. They struggled for initial year or so. They faced the financial hardships. Their family was left behind, so they were experiencing isolation and feeling of homesickness. So the process of migration is overall very stressful, and nobody would like to opt for it unless there are plentiful opportunities available for the nurses in Pakistan. So as far as the nurses who are currently working in Pakistan and what are their motivations that they have stayed in Pakistan, it is also very interesting to observe that the group that I studied, they all were inclined to migrate. The reason that they were stuck here are primarily the licensure and regulations requirement. For example, the group 2 nurses wanted to migrate, but because of degree equivalency issues, because they are required to give the English test language examination in order to process their immigrations. So they were stuck here basically because of the circumstances, not by their own free will. So if the choice would have been given to them that, okay, if all situation is favorable, and would you like still to remain in Pakistan, or would you like to avail the opportunity to go abroad? So they reported that they would like to go abroad if the circumstances would have been in their favor. So there is no factor that was reported to me which can act as a retention factor. The only thing was the family. Only one or two nurses verbalized that they do not want to migrate because they want to stay connected to their family, and they don't want their families to leave behind even for a year or so. So that was the only reason which research participants reported that is important for them in order to be here or work here in Pakistan. Otherwise, majority of the nurses wants to migrate.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else like to ask a question? So I think it was very interesting. I think your list of recommendations, do you think the Pakistan government will and the nursing authorities will actually implement? Of course we have to keep trying, but I wonder, because it's really a sad phenomenon for many countries, the brain drain and talent drain. There needs to be action. So how can we implement the recommendations that you make? Samara, any suggestions?
Yeah, I do have a plan to share these recommendations with the Pakistan Nursing Council representatives, because as I'm currently working as Principal School of Nursing, so I do have contacts with the people who are working in Pakistan Nursing Council, and I plan to share the recommendations and finding of this study with them as well. And let's see what they can do, because right now here in Pakistan, the Prime Minister has formulated the special task force, and that task force is also working on the nurses and the doctors. In fact, the year of 2019 has been declared by the President of Pakistan as the year of nursing. So government knows that there is a dearth of nurses. They themselves has verbalized, and there are also news clippings, or you see in newspaper that the government is right now quite serious regarding the issue of nursing shortage. And I guess that this will be right time if I will be able to share these recommendations, firstly with the Pakistan Nursing Council stakeholders, and secondly also with the Prime Minister task force for the nurses. And let's see what they can do for the nurses, because they are the one who are able to shape the policies for nurses.
Thank you. And one other question, you said that migration was a very big event, obviously, if the whole family goes, but overseas work experience for 3 or 4 years, that could be a positive thing for a country. So what do you think? If they come back with earning their money and come back after 3 or 4 years, or do many nurses have children that they leave when they go and work, as I think happens in the Philippines? But so at what stage can a positive overseas experience move to a brain drain, in a sense? Do you find that? Yeah, go ahead.
The nurses who have migrated initially struggled because they went alone, but later on, because they were able to sponsor their spouse or their children. And right now, majority of nurses that are living abroad are living with their family. So that was a stressful event in terms of like 1 year or 2 years when they were struggling to get the legal requirements met in order to call their respective families. So right now, when I asked them that, do you intend to return to your country if the opportunities are given? So it was shared with them, one of the research participants shared that for short term, yes, I can think about it because I owe, my country has basically given me so much, so I should return something back to my country. But if I think on a personal level, I have children to look after, their education here in abroad is far better than what is the education in Pakistan. The safety and security situation in abroad is much better than in Pakistan because they reported that if their child walks around in the migrated country at 2 a.m. at night, so that's not an issue. Whereas if the same thing is done in Pakistan, then they feel little worried about the safety of the child. So this is one of the factor because they migrated because they wanted to have a good quality of life. Now they have told their spouses and children their life is settled here. So even if the choice is given to return back to your country, we need to give them a very good environment and a very solid reasons that they are satisfied if they are returned. And it will be interesting to continue this study in terms of getting the data from because there are numerous people who initially migrated and then they have returned to Pakistan again. So it will be interesting to know that when they migrated, their lives were settled there, what was the thing that triggered them to return? And they will be able to give the data that what kind of changes we need to make in our system in order to get the people who have migrated back to the country. Because financially, yes, they can do good there and it is good for the economy as well. But at the end, if there is 93% shortfall, then that shortfall is very high.
Yep. Okay, no, thank you so much, Samara. Good job. Yep. Questions? More questions? Thank you.
On the front page, I don't know if you saw it.
It's on the screen now. Thank you. Yes, it seems like a tough life there. Would somebody like to ask some questions or discussion? John is feeling healthy. He wants another 20 years.
Well, as long as I last long enough to ask this question. There's been quite a lot in the papers and things coming out in recent times on what the Japanese call forest bathing. Is that the sort of thing you were talking about here, or is that something different?
Okay, so have you heard of forest bathing in Japan? Osama?
Yes, I have, and I did it myself the last time I was there, 2014, in the middle of the winter. It was minus 20 degrees centigrade.
So that's part of the sort of thing you were talking about?
Yes and no. Yes, you can do that, and I did it also in Kazakhstan a few months earlier, last winter, with some friends. But we don't have to go to those extremes. You can eat an apple a day and mimic the effect of forest breathing. There's something called xenobiotic signaling in biology, and by this I mean the sharing of molecular information between an exogenous or a foreign body and the human body, and in nature. So nature can actually send chemical cues to the body when the body is exposed to it that can mimic the effect of bathing. But an apple can do the same thing. You just need to eat more apples.
Okay. Other comments?
Hi, good afternoon, Professor Osama. I agree on those 7 items that you have presented because I used to be a wild bird photographer. So mostly I spend time in mountains, in forests, in the coastal areas. So during those times, I always feel energetic. I'm not sleepy compared to this year because this year I don't get any vitamin C. For me, vitamin C is SEA because in the morning I used to walk on the coastal lines. I brought my children on an island where there is no signal of cellular phones, no electricity. So it's true. If you're into nature, you trek, you spend time. I also do fishing, jigging. So I just want to confirm that those items are true. And I have experienced it before. So hopefully I can get back. Because this year, I'm very busy, so no road trip, no fishing, and no trekking, no camping. That's all, thank you.
And you felt the difference, yes?
Yes, it's a big difference. Yeah, it's very big difference compared to my build 8 years ago.
There's some hand movement around the midsections of the body. Marlon, any comments on this? Any?
I would like to share something.
Okay, Leandro, please.
Hello, good afternoon, Professor. I'm Leandro. I also wanted to attest, this is a personal experience of our family, background. We do have 2 family houses. One is in the metro and then one is in province. My parents are all beyond 60 of age. Whenever my parents, including me, are not feeling well, what we are doing is we're going home to our province, which is an island. We live in an island. And then few hours or few days staying there, we all feel healthy again. So I think iodine, as what Professor mentioned, is really a factor that could affect our health.
Iodine from the sea air?
Yeah, sea breezes.
Okay.
Indeed, yes. Breathing the molecules in the air of the aquatic environment, like iodine and other molecules, really prompts something protective in the body. You feel it, but now, the research is showing how it affects our cells. There are receptors on the walls of the cells that actually basically are able to respond in a way that leads to these protective antioxidants from the food we eat, like eating an apple. There are receptors on the cell, and there are receptors inside the cell, and both can actually play a role in protecting us from diseases. So we know, for example, now if you give your body the right foods in the right environment, your body manufactures an antioxidant that will actually treat a particular ailment. The body knows how to treat itself. You just need to give it the right food and put it in the right place. It's like it's like a pharmaceutical factory, basically, is what I'm saying. It's amazing. We just need to activate that, and nature seems to do that for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Dexter next, please.
Sir, your topic is very interesting because it's now the fad, or it's now the concern of many today as regards health, aging, and among others. My question is, I have a couple of questions. I don't know if it's still true that an apple a day can drive a doctor away. I don't know if that is still true, because given with the pesticides and herbicides and all these things, so that's so is that still is there still truth as regards to that? Then second is rejuvenation, or in other words, medical science has done great things today, and I'm talking on rejuvenation of cells, particularly on the stem cells. In fact, one billionaire friend of mine gave me this many bottles of stem cells. So I don't know. I'm still thinking what to do with this. So what is your take on this, Professor? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. On the first question, yes, an apple a day still keeps the doctor away. Research on exogenous signaling in biology, modern biology, and nutrition has shown that basically the apple is a foreign object, and there are receptors in our cells that respond to the cues that are given by the apple's molecule, and other molecules that come, say, from the tree or from the animal you touch, even your cat. And our cells tend to respond very, very favorably to the chemicals or the information provided by the apple. And that leads to improving our health. Like the release of neurotransmitters, other agents that all can improve the functionality of our cells and hence our health will improve. So the answer is yes. On the second question, it's interesting that you asked me this. A friend of mine, who's my age, has issues with his knees. He can't run. And this came up because I asked him the other day to go and run with me on the beach, but he said, oh, I'd love to, but my knees hurt and I can't. And then he told me that a week earlier, he went to Jordan to see a doctor who treats people with bad knees with stem cell therapy. So what he did is he took a sample from the fat on the belly, and he removed he put it in a centripetal machine to remove the liquid, the water basically, from the fat, and then took the fat cells and injected them directly into his kneecap. And then he added another injection that had basically some natural oils and some stimulators, active chemicals to stimulate the reaction. And so he's just done that like a week earlier before we had this conversation, and he didn't tell me that his knees improved. He still could not run, but he said he can bend his knees now. So before the stem cell therapy, he wasn't able to bend his knees, but after, he said, I can bend my knees up to 90 degrees, but not more than 90 degrees. He's a Muslim, so he cannot he cannot sit all the way down, where you have to bend your knee like a U shape. He cannot do that, it's painful. But he can bend it, so he can sit on a chair without any pain. So this is somewhat successful. Conversely, a cousin of mine, actually, who has MS, multiple sclerosis, she's in Beirut right now, also being treated by a famous doctor who uses stem cell therapy to treat MS. But unfortunately, she's been going to him for the last 5 years, and her condition is only getting worse. She's 42 now. So yeah, it's still a mixed bag. So it seems to work for some, and depending on where and what. And it may not work on others.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes, Leanne? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Osama. This is Lane Hartzell. I'm a research professor. Hi. I have a question about, you mentioned the biorhythms or the biological clock. Are you aware of Sachin Panda's work at the Salk Institute?
No, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, he's a leading researcher in biorhythms. What's your opinion on, well, I'll tell you what I do, and this is kind of a standard thing that he recommends, is for 16 hours per day we don't eat, and the other window we eat. So instead of doing like a 3-day fast or a 5-day fast, we just incorporate it into our regular lifestyle. So I eat at about 8:30 in the morning, and then I finish at 4:30 every day. I don't drink or eat after, except for water, and I don't drink alcohol like at nighttime or anything.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I've done this myself, and I practice it. Actually, I've been doing it for the last 3 years. I call it intermittent fasting, and I basically wait 18 hours between 2 meals, and I've noticed that when I do that, I tend to have more energy, more vitality. I lose weight quickly, especially around the belly, the waist, and I have better mental clarity. I can run better. So when I consulted, researchers on this in the field, I was told that I'm activating what is known as autophagy. Autophagy is this mechanism that I mentioned earlier.
Right.
It was discovered by a Japanese scientist back in the 90s, maybe even 89. But now it's becoming popular among athletes. They use it to improve their performance on the track. And it mimics actually the effect of calorie restriction. And what it does, it turns the body, it makes the body burn ketones as opposed to carbs. And so when you do that, it adapts, you become what is called fat adapted, not carb adapted, as most of us are now. So if we eat carbs like bread, rice, pasta, cookies, cakes, we become carb adapted. So that our bodies learn to burn sugar basically, and it becomes addicted to it. And we have these cravings if we don't give it sugar, because our brain loves to burn sugar. But if we do this, we stay, we stay for 18 hours of food, or even 16 hours. I've tried 16, 18, and 21. 21 gives you the best results, but 18 seems to be the happy medium. You produce ketones. The liver produces something called ketones, and the body uses those to energize itself. So the body first will burn the sugar, and once it's depleted the sugar, it goes to the fat, and once it's depleted the fat, it goes to the muscles. And once it starts looking for energy in the muscles, it creates these things that are called ketones, and ketones provides the energy. So basically, this is called autophagy. This is the process of autophagy, and it's supposed to not only cleanse your body, it's the best way to cleanse your body, it's the real cleanse, not the detox cleanse that is so popular, but this is the real cleanse of the body. So the cells that are not working well, or the cells that need to just go away, this tends to clean up the garbage. It's like taking the mess out of the kitchen, and then you get this boost of energy. You'll see the difference. You'll never get tired. You even may need less sleep. So I'm a big believer in this. I practice it myself on a regular basis, and it's also related to what's known as chronobiology, which looks at how nature affects our biorhythms, and also how the pathways, molecule pathways in the body that triggers this mechanism of autophagy. So thank you for the comments.
Okay, thanks. Any brief comments? Okay. Well, I think, Osama, thank you. It was a very interesting presentation, and I'll put you in touch with Lane as well, because I think this will be interesting. There's a lot more about our body that we understand gradually, and the integrated approach that you're promoting as our Professor of Integrative Health is very critical. And I think there's a lot of lessons from our interdisciplinary meetings of bioethics. So please keep healthy. I'm sorry we're not in Jeddah. I have offered to take people to the ocean on the 1st, but not so many we have offered taken up yet. But we'll see. They might be inspired. We might suddenly get enrollment in the excursion on the 1st of December. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you, Osama.
Thank you.
I was out of Bangkok, and I've been doing research on renewable energy, and then I've looked at, over the last year, Darryl encouraged me. I said, oh, I'm interested about soil. The reason I was interested is because they opened this Centre for Soil Excellence and Research in Asia just in my local village, and I thought, oh, that's a topic that I was interested in regarding ethics. So thank you for encouraging me, Darryl, because he said it was a very important topic.
Yeah,
so,
thank you. Okay.
With the soil. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, we are just to introduce ourselves.
Yep.
You finish? Yeah. Well, I'm Lane Hartzell. I'm a research professor here at the Department of Philosophy at Chulalongkorn University, and also doing some work with Thammasastra University in Cambodia in philosophy. And my focus is on advanced technology or technological civilization and ethics, and how, or I guess you might say, how we develop in a way that would accommodate, not accommodate, but how global justice or ethics would be directed in how we develop our progress.
Thanks, Lon.
I'm John Weckett from Australia. I retired a few years ago. Most of my work earlier on was in the ethics of computing and nanotechnology. I look now at slightly broader issues connected with, again, with science and technology, and also with the environment, and I've become more interested in Indigenous issues at home as well.
Thanks, John. Ronnie?
Hello, I'm Ronnie. I do a few entrepreneurial stuffs in the Philippines. I do startups with a few friends. On the side, I also do research and advocacy work on women, children, gender, peace, and agriculture. Also a student of ASN.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Good morning. I'm Aldrin Quintero from Notre Dame Marble University. I'm an associate professor, and at the same time, I'm studying law in the same university.
Good morning, I'm Rogelio Bayot from the Philippines in Korea College. I'm teaching philosophy and religious studies. At the same time, I'm doing a lot of works with the indigenous peoples, and also started to develop a little bit of farming in my little small land.
Hello, pleasant morning to everyone. Sorry we were late. I'm Christopher Ryan Mabolok. I'm from Ateneo de Davao University. I'm mainly interested in political ethics. I have a couple of articles on liberalism and environmental philosophy.
Hello, my name is Nares Damlongchai. My hometown is in central Thailand. I am a bioengineer by training, and I am heading a public organization called T-Cells. We provide funding support for research and development to universities, startups, social enterprise, and I guess I like to focus on science and technology for pro-poor development. And also I am a member of Thailand's National Ethics Committees on Science and Technology. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Dexter. from Philippines, South, Davao. Particularly, I am a teacher and also trying to enroll in AUSN.
Good morning. I'm Dennis Alvaro from St. Paul University, Quezon City in the Philippines. So currently, I'm interested in data and information security. So I also teach part-time in the same university and student of the USL. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Marites Fantanilla from St. Paul University, Quezon City also. I am under Information Technology program. I'm currently the chair of IT.
Thank you. Ananya?
Good morning, I'm Marlon. I also am a teacher at American University of Southern Nations and at St. Paul's. My area of interest particularly on ethics in human genetic engineering and the sciences, medical and healthcare ethics, and I do research on those matters. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ian from the Philippines as well. My interests are in business, statistics, and economics. And a student of AUSN.
Thank you. Okay, now Jude, please.
Hi, I'm Jude Isa. I'm a family physician working in Bangladesh International, and again, I'm here because of Dr. Darrell. I want to involve with this university.
Thank you. Navya?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nanya Traiti-Kamlongcho. I work for Bioethics Institute that collaborate with the Center of Ethics and Technology here in Chulalongkorn University. Also, I'm the visiting professor in AUSN. Welcome to all of you to Thailand.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody.